these in episodes, and we normally record a few of them at a time, either 2 or 3.
Yes.
But we have in total up till including this, we've done 37 sessions. And we started in, what was it, like May 2015?
Was it?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Something
Well, I mean, it's
something
easy.
like
Maybe a
that.
little lighter than that, or a little later than that.
It's
Check the
easy to
first
check.
episode.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to do that.
Well, I got the rule books May 8th, so we started after that point.
Yeah.
Like a week later, maybe.
Been going for a while.
Mm-hmm.
May 31st is the first episode that was.
And we've taken some several week breaks from time to time. So
yeah. So if you guys have any specific questions before we get going in chat, let us have them, and we'll see if we can be smart about it and answer them.
Or maybe it's all still a coma.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, guys, for episode 100, 1,000 experience.
Yay!
Cold shot.
And Captain finally made peace with the space whales.
No,
Yep.
no.
No, we can't railroad
No.
him like that. He has to do it himself. Otherwise, it's not true friendship.
Just because something I hate saved my life doesn't mean I instantly like it now.
Yeah, I mean, just ask Icarus
Good.
for all the time Anadar saved him.
I will be back in like 30 seconds. My dogs are begging to go outside.
Well, Kiara14 asks, who's our favorite crewmate and why is it Russell? And the answer is Russell because he's Russell.
Fucking
No.
Russell.
The answer is Percy.
Because no, you know what's going to be fucked up now? That the only thing that happened that carried over from the coma was him always doing the controls the way you don't want to. Try to trick him. Can't believe this has happened. Played yourself.
I was really close, by the way, to shooting myself in the head.
Yeah, that was.
Well, as soon as you started doing that, actually,
Well, that's-
Icarus would have
That's
used
when
something
the
power
little
stuff.
flag comes out of the gun with the bang on it.
I'm back.
I don't think I'm a space whale racist. I don't. He doesn't like whales.
Just doesn't like whales.
Space whale racist?
Marvelous
I think
Mr.
it's.
D
I
wants
think
to
it's
know-
also. It's kind of hard to be racist against something that's not sentient.
It's not even real.
Marvelous Mr. D wants to know where we got that character art
Secret tongue.
For which character?
I can do that.
for Knorr's character.
Oh, that's wherever Knorr got it. I don't know.
It's fan art, but I don't. Oh, wait. Does he mean the fan art or the
Character picture, I think.
character picture?
Oh man. I gotta-
Blockhead wants to know: will there be any orcs, and why not?
Because
There might be. There might be. They're really
Almost
close
definitely.
to orc
Yeah,
space,
we're
where
really
they're-
close to
they're-
we've also had
they're-
opportunities to interact with orc, but we're like, no, there are orcs on those systems. Let's not go there.
Mm-hmm.
Will Necrons make a return? Who knows?
Probably.
I hope not.
Well,
Some of them got away.
Well,
No, we
canon
killed
to
all of them.
40k, they do, unfortunately.
Why isn't everyone terrified of Anadar?
They
Most
are.
people
Well,
on the ship
I am.
are
Yeah.
used to them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're like
Pretty
as
much
used to
all
them as
of-
possible. They're
Pretty
pretty
much all of the
uncomfortable around
basic
them. but-
crew are
My-
terrified of him.
My favorite bit of Holt is Holt sees Anadar for the awful twisted warp ghoul that he is,
Yep.
but he's got the willpower to not just shit himself all the time because he's a very brave man. He's like,
Are you going to rebuild the battleship from dirt? That battleship is pretty beat up. That's going to take, decades to centuries to get working again.
To like even get it out of the ground, really.
Yeah.
It's I
Like
think
that'll probably happen, but probably not within the scope of this game.
it's
Mm-hmm.
also. I mean, it's also a question of cost. As in case you haven't noticed, John Silconicus doesn't really like to spend money unless he has to, and that seems very expensive for very little gain.
I mean, it's actually huge gain, but it just is going to. It would take a long time.
It would be extremely expensive.
Like, you're talking about like a ship from the Dark Age of technology that's literally priceless.
Exactly, and then I have to get it up into space, and that's
And you'd have to, and then there's the one that's on the other planet, and you'd have to that's a lot of infrastructure getting it so their city works without having to.
And then it's also a case of what's the rest of the house going to think about that. And it's going to be like everyone wants a piece of the cake. It's just really annoying.
It's better to.
Ghost Gas asks who Kurtok and Gaznab are, and those are Ethan's characters.
Yeah.
Will we ever see the Frozen Sisters? And when
That's
will
up
the
to
Chris
Yes.
get mauled by Tyranid?
I mean-
I'll give you a small hint. Both of those are going to happen at the same time.
At the same time.
Same time.
I mean, it's a case of I always want to go to the Frozen Sisters, but things tend to happen.
No, we need to go to what's it place first? The place with the time drill that we need to beat through.
No,
Lacristy.
well, once you figure
Yeah,
out
that's
how.
fine.
Sigmund's
time
Folly
drill.
had the time drill, but Lacristy
Yeah.
just had
Well, we
pure
were
time.
going to use the time drill to get to Lacristy.
You could
That's
try.
true.
Also, the only red shirts that have names are the ones where we need someone to have a name.
Yeah,
Like the-
pretty much we'll name anyone when we need
Yeah,
a particular character.
Or
Like
if
the-
they distinguish themselves.
Yeah, like the reason Percy has a name is just because I needed someone to blame for crashing into a planet.
Who do you think will die first? Probably IB.
Yeah, he has shit luck with getting hit.
You say that,
Scoozle
but I
will
haven't got
probably
hit
die
for a while.
last.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel-
I'll probably die last unless I just randomly explode.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
true.
The thing
But
with Scoozle's
you might
character-
accidentally kill IB though.
Yeah.
I
I
think
could there are many times where I could have potentially killed literally everyone.
Yeah. The thing with Scoozle's character is the way that astropaths work in the game, they're basically invincible unless they fail that one roll that they have to do to manifest their powers and explode. So yeah, he is essentially unkillable unless he just messes up that roll real bad, which is hard to do when you have fate points.
Exactly.
It gets even
and-
harder to do as you get.
Yeah,
more
and we
things.
do our best. You'll probably notice, like for instance, not being able to control the beasts. You know, Nuggin does his best to minimize how overpowered Holt is at times without
Yeah.
making him completely useless. Because really, at this point, Holt could just do whatever he wants. Because you think Dungeons and Dragon wizards are broken, got
Psychos
nothing
are
on
broken.
got nothing on astropaths.
I think you're going to go insane before anyone else dies.
That's very possible too.
Merrick has a lot of insanity points. So some interesting stuff could happen with that. I will at some point actually update my character. I wasn't kidding when I said I haven't actually touched him in 8 months because I've just completely lost track of how many points I've spent. So I basically have to build him from scratch again with my old notes.
Will there ever be another one of these live streams? The problem we have with setting up a live stream is that our schedules change a lot, and there's a lot of times where we're like, hey, we're going to play, and then 2 people suddenly can't make it, so we're like, oh, well, not today. So it's kind of hard for us to plan it all out like that. Maybe, again, in the future. I had fun doing it.
Sure, yeah, it's fun. It's nice to have the interaction with the chat.
It's weird that we managed to organize this and our sick prank.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and then, like, I almost-
organizational skills.
I
Yeah, also
almost
pull
wasn't
back
here
from the graph.
today. Like, for instance.
I almost didn't have a microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Everything
that
came
was-
together really
that was
well.
actually
It
nice.
turns out getting a bunch of people together from fucking 12 different places on the globe, not easy.
Yeah. No, but I think we have it's not like streaming wise, it's not technically difficult to do this kind of thing. It's just like you can't.
Schedules.
Yeah, you don't want to have like, hey, every Sunday we're going to do this when every other Sunday
You might not.
right.
you might not. And it's fine for us when someone has an excuse or like, oh, we'll just do something else. But if you promise like people outside of your circle,
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of have to have to commit to it a bit more. So
Basically, it would be risky for us to ever say, oh, we're definitely going to live stream this particular Sunday. So
Right.
you'd be getting, like, if we did do it again, you'd just be getting the notification as it went up.
Yeah.
And also there's a problem with sometimes it's not the most. Like we've had sessions where it's been like an hour of us reading books, going, "Wait,
every
what's this?
every
Is
time
this
we
how
have
this
space
goes?
combat,
Wait,
every single time.
that's how this works."
We're probably just not going to do space combat again because it's a fucking mess.
What
Like,
we
it's
need
a
is
cool
something
idea,
cooler.
but ugh.
We need to come up with a cooler thing. Well, we should ask the 40k thread because
We should just play. You know what? Let's just play Battleship next time.
because those dudes are always making up rules for weird things.
Yeah, like at least Battleship has understandable rules.
Yeah, and they're all in the
Aren't
same
gonna
place.
change every time.
Yeah, they're all in the same place.
How many house rules do we have?
I have
don't
a
think
couple
we're
for psychic
running
powers.
any right now.
Yeah, we
No,
have a few minor ones. Scoozle's got some psychic powers house ruled. We house ruled Anadar's fate, not fate points, pain tokens.
That's right, because
Yeah.
that's just a broken system.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, we have some here and there. We don't really bother with ammunition because that's too finicky to bother with.
Yeah.
And we're the rich ones.
Yeah, exactly.
1%.
It's also a case of, I mean, we do bother with it in the cases of when you have really like specialized shots, like fancy grenades. But
Yeah,
Mhm.
like when we were storming the ship on Day, it was like you've been down here a long time. You got into a lot of fights. You're running low on ammo.
But normally when it's like
Normally it's just like we were here for an hour.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like healing, for instance, it would have taken Holt like 3 months to heal that much damage.
Yeah, like actually,
which is stupid.
It is dumb.
Like I would have just been out of commission a lot. Like just this last time, I would have been out of commission for 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. Selfter asks if we'll have any more players. Probably not. We already have quite a few. New characters with the same player? You never know.
Yeah.
Like if people die, they could definitely just make a new character.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, but like, I wouldn't say that like if someone just wants to play a different character for a couple of sessions just for fun, like that's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have enough
also-
redundancy and skills at this point that there really isn't any one irreplaceable character.
I just used a power that could put somebody to sleep for 41,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the kind of nonsense that Psychers
Like
can do.
I could just send literally everyone 40,000 years into the future and just like force Nuggin to deal with that.
And I bet
If
you,
you
I mean,
Die in our sleep,
it's weird how 40,000 years in the future is literally exactly the same thing. But it turns out that time is cyclical.
And when it comes to other RPGs like D&D and Pathfinder, I'm not against playing other RPGs. I think it's a question of, in my mind, it's a question of what does the GM wants to play
Yep.
first
Yeah.
of all.
So,
I
like
I
right
think
And
we're
now,
we
also
played
gonna-
other ones in the past. We played.
yeah, we have.
For instance, we had Robin GM'd that what Numenera we had. That
That
wasn't
was-
for too long, but we did
It
that
was,
for a
it
while.
was a good time though.
There's a few on my channel where we did Only War, we did Kobolds Ate My Baby and stuff like that.
Done a couple of Call of Cthulhu's as well.
Yeah, if we ever want to do some one-offs for other stuff, I'd be up for running stuff like that. I just got 5th edition D&D rules. Or if we ever get tired of Rogue Trader, we could always try a different game. So
I
I think we'll eventually hit a
Edition is
point
much
where
less
like
broken.
once we get to the end of rank 8, there's not going to be a lot for us to do anymore.
yeah, I
Because
agree.
our characters will just be completely maxed. And
Yeah,
then-
like it just comes to a point. It's like, hey, you guys want to sit and talk about weird adventures and pretend to be in space?
Any advice for a new Rogue Trader players?
I've got a
DMs?
good piece of advice for any new DM.
Yeah.
The GM should have fun too.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
And
Yes.
play fast and loose with the rules.
Yeah,
Yes.
The rules for this game are ridiculous. They're Byzantine. There's like
No, I mean the strength of Rogue Trader is the setting rather
Yes.
than the rule set. The rule set is
Exactly.
horrible, but the setting is super fun.
I
It
actually
is,
read
yeah.
a thing. I read a thing the other day where someone went into it, and the reason the Fantasy Flight 40k RPGs, which Rogue Trader is one, the reason the rules are the way they are is because they are based on the very first Games Workshop RPG rule set from 1983, and they were
God.
told they had to base it on that. So
that doesn't surprise me.
we've had like 33 years of advancements in RPG tech and rules, and people thinking about it in a different way. And they were told that they had to use that as a base and work from there. And it's like, now we know why it's really
Yeah.
fucking bad.
And now they've lost the license, so you never know. We might get a different company.
Yeah, but they'd
doing
still
more.
be forced by Games Workshop to...
Yes, but Games Workshop
Yeah.
has also in the recent years been a lot better with like letting their stuff get out there, and they're still very strict about controlling the IP, but I get the feeling that they're more lax about that kind of thing.
I don't think you should get that feeling, to be honest.
Sheepdog 42, I think you will go back and check the video and realize that it was Kenor that stranded
Yeah.
their players.
The
Everyone
GM
on
can
the
only
planet?
fudge
Duggan had nothing to
I
do
can-
with it. That was
I
just
can only
gravity
fudge
and
let
bad
me-
so
rolls.
many rolls.
Yeah, let me say that unlike a traditional pen and paper RPG, I can't go fudge rolls in Map Tool. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's no way for me to just be like, oh, this is the number. I mean, at that point, I might as well just not roll. And if I actually don't roll, then they know that I didn't do anything. It's a little bit different. Kenor stranded everyone on that
Yeah, he
planet,
fucked
not
it.
me.
Hey. Don't blame me. Blame Percy.
The dice,
Percy
the dice.
inverted the controls.
But please, hate the game, not the player.
Yes, Goozle pointing out in the chat that Holt has been informing us on the Inquisition for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And it's actually been really fun reading
Yes.
the YouTube comments and people
Yep.
blaming me constantly.
Yep.
It's like, no, it's actually the crazy religious guy who.
It's the crazy dude who's only alive because the Inquisition let him. It's weird.
Yeah, I think that was also one of those cases where I think you let it slip in chat before we realized it in game, and officially I think in game at some point John Silconicus realized it's probably Holt, but there isn't really much he can do about it.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
not a lot of hard evidence.
Yeah, exactly. He's pretty sure it's not anyone else, and it wouldn't surprise him if it's Holt, but he can't do anything about it because that's Holt, and he'll just put you to sleep for 40,000 years.
It's a completely unprovable crime because like when we read that other dude's mind, and Holt was like, "Yeah, no, he did it. It's him. He did it." It's like, well,
Yeah, the thing is, we don't have anyone that can read Holt's mind.
yeah,
I mean,
we've got
technically,
Another
I have
astropath
psychic
could.
powers, but I'm
Like,
not
okay,
in
so-
the same area as him. He's
Yeah.
so much more powerful that he would basically have to roll 100, and I would have to roll a 1.
Yeah, like the only way Holt can actually fail right now is if he rolls a 100, because he gets to add a 60 to any psychic test that he's resisting, and then he gets like an additional 30 from talents, and then you can get a free reroll on that.
Yeah, so you
So, like,
basically just
it's
have to
almost
roll
impossible.
200s.
Yeah. It's also a case of where the Inquisition can't really do too much about
Right.
John
And
Silconicus
also,
anyways.
Recently, this isn't like, I'm not really sure this has been talked about in game, but the deal with Dirt is the Inquisition gave me the objective to go deal with that, and if we did, they would just stop looking into John Silconicus.
Yes.
So
And,
that's
like-
why I was pressing everybody to go there.
And it's another thing where, like, you know, we're smart enough to realize when something is going on for too long, and we were all in agreement that, like, the Inquisitional arc had gone on for a while, and we wanted to move on to different stories. So, you know, we're able to take that sort of stuff into account and design the game around it without breaking the character.
I mean, the problem with trying to make a plan to kill Holt is that it probably wouldn't work because we don't really know if he's scanning someone's mind.
Yeah.
The easiest way, if we wanted to get rid of Holt, is to
Just leave them on the planet.
is essentially go. You're too dangerous to be around. We can't have you around. Go do this thing instead. And that
like if Holt ever had to be got rid of, it would be being discussed by all parties, and it would be okay. Well, it's like okay, so is Holt gonna die? Is he just gonna go off have another life? How are we gonna set that up?
I mean, a lot
Like,
of the characters.
You
are a
never
little
roll
more-
dice when you do that sort of thing.
no.
Mhm.
Exactly,
It just doesn't
right.
work.
And you're all a little more dangerous than your individual characters can let on too. Because like if they don't have Holt, they have the rest of the Astropathic choir on there, but they can't work just as well as Holt can. But that means they have to get another Astropath and one that will get the other Astropaths loyal to them to actually be able to communicate with anyone at all, ever. I mean, and then like for Merrick, he has the entire Mechanicus behind him. For Vendegroth, he's got the whole ship's security forces pretty much. IB doesn't have much.
Well, IB has money, so if IB dies, then the captain loses.
IB
for, like,
has-
money.
IB has the pity of everyone else.
Yeah.
Is basically what keeps him alive.
No,
This is kind of the thing that we talked about when we had this argument on Dirt about whether we were going to go to the Manufactorum or the forge in the ship, or we were going
Right.
to go to the bridge.
I remember
Is that like every individual character has enough backing behind them to make it difficult for them to deal with without some serious drawbacks, and so it's a game of push and
Except
pull.
for
and-
Anadar. Like, Anadar doesn't get to make any decisions by himself, really. If
If
he says, I'm not going to do this, then it's like, oh well.
yeah,
To
He
be
doesn't
fair
have any
though,
pull.
to be fair though, Anodar is the only person the captain actually trusts.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's fucked
So
up.
that's-
People were
that's
saying in
it.
chat like, oh, Anadar's lying. It's like Anadar's literally never lied to anybody about anything.
Yeah, that's actually Anadar's strength is that in character he's like BFFs with the captain.
Right.
And also, in a way, yeah, he's brutally honest, but he is honest. He doesn't lie a lot because
Well-
he's just fucked up. And I mean, he can and he does.
He's
But-
admitted the truth sometimes.
Yeah, but like he doesn't really need to lie because he's just that fucked up, and he doesn't care what everyone thinks.
Yeah. Like when it came to where we going on Dirt, it's like, well, going with Merrick's probably the right idea, but like the captain's the cool guy who I like the most, so
hmm
in character there's not much reason for me to not do what the captain tells me. And if he ever gives Anadar what he doesn't care about, then he'll just go, oh, well, whatever, you're not the boss of me. I mean, I've got this bit of paper that says you are, but fuck you.
Will you guys ever try to go back to the coffee planet?
No,
yeah,
fuck
we
that.
gotta.
No.
We're gonna go there. It's gonna be a Dark Eldar. It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah, like there's literally no reason to go back to Coffee Planet. It's close to horrible Necrons. There might be
Oh, I thought you
Dark
weren't
Eldar
admitting
there,
Necrons exist anymore.
or it might be that the guy who actually owns Coffee Planet's like, hey, do you mind helping out? There's horrible Dark Eldar here, or there's horrible Eldar here that's doing bad shit, and I can't really say no to that.
We know for a fact you don't want to mess with Dark Eldar because they're mean.
Well,
Yeah,
we don't
they're
know that
jerks.
they're Dark Eldar. We just know that they're Eldar.
Just
because we don't know
Eldar
the
doing
difference.
bad things. Don't mess with them. I still think that Nissa made it out because she was savvy and also knew about Cabals and the different Dark Eldar stuff. So I think she would have got out. So I think she's out there somewhere, or living as some sort of weird queen pet.
Does Nuggin have some kind of campaign plan, or is this 100% sandbox and improvisation game?
Hey,
I make-
before you answer that question, I gotta get going. I'm gonna go do dinner.
Thank you for
with-
coming around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
thanks
our
for-
first
Yeah,
episode.
it's awesome.
It's good to have you guys all again. See you all
No,
again.
it's good to see you too.
So hopefully I'll be able to
Bye.
join on a few more Sundays.
Cool,
Sure.
cool.
Always welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Take it easy.
So, as far as how planned out this is, I usually make some basic plot points and a few little bridges on how I want to get there. And other than that, it's pretty much improv as we're going on. The only time I really plan certain things, like certain encounters and stuff like that, is when I have to go into Map Tool and actually make the tokens for everything. And that's just sort of a limitation of the way what we're doing with Map Tool. I can't just come up with some, weird monster or something on the fly. I have to prepare it ahead of time. Or it'll take me like 20 minutes to set it up.
Rogue Trader, I think, has a similar problem that like Traveler and Exalted have, where the players have such freedom to go anywhere and do anything at any time.
Yes,
That
100%.
planning is no good. There was one thing that a friend said ages ago that he was like, "Yeah, you can have an airship for your Victoriana game, brilliant." And then he realized that you had to make up a plan for them to go to like Africa or Paris or China. You had to come up with a million different things that ready to do in case they just said, "Oh yeah, we want to go here today," and then they just wanted to go shopping somewhere instead after he planned out all these cool adventures. And he was like, "Your airship needs to go in for repair. Sorry, you're stuck in Milan."
There are some good natural breakpoints, like when we're deciding to jump to a different planet or something. Is usually, that's we come to some pretty natural stopping points for these episodes and these sessions, which usually give Nuggin some time to prepare for a certain location. We don't tend to like hop between 14 planets in 1 week.
Right.
Yeah, like when we were doing dirt, we only stayed on dirt, so that gave Nuggin plenty of time to plan everything that
Exactly.
happened there.
I assume we're also hopefully kind of clear of what we as players want to do. Like the fact that we are currently chasing after a beast and then going to one Grimm's Rest. I mean, that was introduced pretty early on that was happening, and it wasn't up until it was kind of now that we had the time to go do that.
Yeah, it's sort of like weird that this game, despite being bad, hasn't got like the Endeavor system where you're like, we are going to Endeavor to do this, and then the GM's like, okay, well, you need to do this, and this to make that happen and can organize it. Logan is also actually just a really good GM, and you can about like if you have an idea for a thing, or you're like, oh, I think this would be cool, you can just talk to him, and then it'll go, yeah, that is cool, but what about this? And you're like, hell yeah. And then it's like, he's just really good. You're just really good, Nuggin. Just really good GM.
Aw.
Yeah, A+ would play again.
1,000 more experience.
would play at least 100 sessions with.
But yeah, it's just there's a lot of. It takes a lot to plan that stuff out, but we do our best.
Like I want to say today's session was probably the most planning that the player characters did.
Yeah,
I think
it's definitely
so,
the most non-GM planning.
Mostly play it pretty fast and loose.
Yeah. Kenor, you didn't know we had a secret Discord chat on what was going to happen?
No,
and
but
how
I
we were
kind of
gonna mess with
assumed.
you?
Oh yeah,
No,
it became pretty obvious at a certain point, I would hope.
no, we did all this via snail mail. Make sure you can hack our emails and find out. We've got all letters and correspondence.
There's actually a page on our wiki that says secret plan, and everyone else can see it except for you.
I was so fucking pleased that I both managed to pilot and dodge, by the way.
Yeah.
So fuck you
And
for
then
that.
didn't actually dodge.
Yeah, it is pretty good that
I was
pulled it off and still got hit by the.
I was waiting for Nuggin to do like this and roll 1d100 and then go, oh, 85. Well, that was your ship's chance to avoid it. Sorry. And if he rolled a 1, he's like, oh, that's the Warp Storm's chance to hit you. Nailed it. Just either way, no matter what he rolled, it's like, this is happening. Eat it.
Yeah.
I think the saga of the space whales is.
I love the whales.
I think it's not over. That's for sure.
Oh no, it's never going to be over. Are you kidding? I've got so many whale embryos at this point.
Yeah.
The only reason I got tech use is that I could search for the whales.
With the scanner. Yeah.
I do like it is one of the main plot points that has persisted for quite some time now. It's a good thread. It's a good storyline.
I don't know. Why didn't you tell us you sold out Coffee Planet to the Eldar? The whale on the ship? These betrayals are equal?
Mm-hmm.
It
Basically,
is
millions of people, one space whale. Same thing.
One broke a rule you said, one harmed your enemies. I mean...
Will there ever be land space whales?
There could be.
That's up to Grunty and Ethan.
We don't have any land vehicles, and we really should get some, so I'm probably going to slap some treads on that whale at some point and put a turret on it and just have a whale tank.
Put lots of little feet.
Just cross
even better.
Cross its tentacles underneath it, and then just have it roll on them forward.
Yeah, okay.
It can have blowholes on the bottom that you put your feet through, and it's like the Flintstones.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
What more do you need?
Hate Space Whales so much.
They're so good.
I can't even remember why I initially hung on to that. But I guess it just seemed like a good idea at the time.
No, I mean,
Like,
I
what's
think
funny
it's
is nobody
because-
knew about it for a long time.
I think
I
it's
really
all
because
suspected.
Kenor told you couldn't. I think that's the only reason. Because you
Right, but
like you were asking about how could people buy them? Could whatever? And they were
Right,
like,
but,
yeah,
I just
guess.
don't remember why I came up with that in the first place.
I
Well,
think you were just asking about them. You were just getting
Yeah.
information about them.
I guess.
because they
They
were
were like,
cool
we're
and
not getting it.
interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it was about the time that I was spreading more into the biological part of my character. So
Like we went to Cobalt, and the servitor who was really unhelpful was then like, "And here's your transport." It's
Yeah.
like,
Hey,
okay, the
what's
way-
I
that
wasn't
about?
even there for that session.
so everybody just got in it, and the captain's like, what's that?
I mean, the main reason John Silkurgus hates whales is because that servitor was a fucking
You
asshole.
hated that servitor.
It was so
Really?
useless.
Well, that's all he's programmed to do. He just gets
Yeah.
people away. Oh, he doesn't understand other questions.
I
I
really,
think it was Marvelous Mr. D that asked if Merrick and the Magus biologist lady are going to hook up, and yeah, totally are.
Probably are.
We've got this hot and steamy RP session all planned out.
unfortunately, isn't Merrick like Kim Golded?
Yeah, but that doesn't actually mean neutered, apparently.
Oh, good.
So
It's all right.
Yeah,
And,
you can.
and
I mean,
can
like
figure it out.
you've both got like digital implants that you can
oh
connect
yeah,
together.
man,
Oh.
cyber babies all the time.
No, please.
Oh, it's going to be so
disgusting.
good.
Disgusting. No, I really liked Icarus in the Space Whale because he's the man who has been like the biggest coward, and he's just like, oh right, I'm climbing this thing's mouth,
It's
whatever.
just a whale.
It's just whatever. I've seen weirder shit today.
No, in his history, he's been on a whale before.
He's been pro whale.
He's been on a whale. So that's why he just walks straight in.
He's just like the secret history of Icarus.
Yeah,
He's got a
there's a
diary.
lot that nobody knows yet. I'm thinking it's going to come out at some point.
You should do a memoirs because I'm thinking of doing like actually writing an Anadar's bestiary, and most of it will just be like really insulting to every creature he finds. But maybe you should do the memoirs of Kappa.
It's
Well,
just
yeah,
going to be a
everything's-
long list where it says like snail creature from Borgia, fuckers. Yeah. Bigger dinosaur
spiders.
creatures from Borgia, real shithead.
Humans, stinky and stupid. I hate them.
Are we ever going to do side sessions so we can learn more about specific characters?
Well,
Uh,
actually, the initial idea for the 100 session was to go back in time and investigate the characters before they even joined the ship.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
we
doing
talked
it's
about
like a flashback thing.
Mhm,
Yeah.
we talked about that.
We should, yeah, like we could do something like that. Just
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, and
The only issue I have with that kind of thing is that the more backstory you build, the more you're kind of stuck to that backstory.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't actually, oh, this is a cool thing. Well, let's make it part of the backstory then.
Yeah.
The more open it is, the more you can then put in as we're actually playing it live.
Why don't you just go get under the time drill and turn it on and see
And see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And then it's just going to be a regular drill, and everyone's going to be disappointed.
yeah,
no,
it's just like
I'm pretty sure we scientifically deduced it was a time drill.
we could yeah, like we could do, the problem with doing like side stories like that is it's really boring for everybody that isn't
Yeah.
the GM and the dude doing it. And then if you don't have and if you just do it like on your own, just them two things, that's fine, but then the other people won't know what's happened unless you fill them in.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a backstory, but a side quest.
Well,
We've done some minor things like that, like
Yeah.
Suzel's whole stuff with the
Inquisition, which is
Inquisition,
still
was still
ongoing.
going
Yeah.
on. Yeah,
right.
like
I
they all
had,
have their
uh,
own little personal side things.
Yeah, I had a pretty substantial thing going on with Dirt because of
Yeah.
the STC and the Mechanicus forces. You know,
Then- yeah.
Ethan has he made that deal with the Dark Eldar and sold out Coffee Planet for some cool guns.
And Ridomineron.
We've got multiple Circonicus family members running around on the college stuff.
Who
And,
I'm sure one day will betray us.
Right, and of course, Icarus has the med bay. That's his side story.
It's where he spends most of his spare time.
No, but I mean, it's also one of those. I think that's an EC. I mean, I'm sure it works for some groups, but in my experience, the EC mistake a lot of RPG groups make is that they split up a lot because it's natural to split up. But it kind of, as soon as you start splitting up, even if it's just in 2 groups, that basically slows the pace to half because you only need to pay attention for half of it, and that's usually bad in the long run. So yeah, of course, it doesn't really make sense for the rogue trader and like the closest and most high ranked members of his crew to go down on a planet as soon as one of the ships disappear. But that's what's fun. So that's what's going to happen.
It's the Star Trek, right? There's no need for this to happen. There's no need for the captain to leave the ship, but it's fun.
And that's also
it's for the glory.
But I mean, I was going to say that's also why the captain always sends down a ship with red shirts first. Yeah, because that's supposed to happen, and then once that gets knocked out of the air,
that reminds me, I need to mark down your down one shuttle.
Yeah, because it got murdered by one.
Yeah.
Was there a chance that the heretic that merged with the ship survived as that killbot? You might want to talk to Grunty about that.
I don't even remember. Do we still have that robot he was building?
Probably. No, they smashed it. They smashed it.
That's
and they smashed the memory stick you gave them, and then you were very clearly going, glad I didn't give them the real one.
Right. I completely forgot about that. I was thinking about, so there's something called the Rite of Duplessence, which is a unique career path for Mechanicus, where basically you put another Mechanicus brain in your brain, and it's got some cool things where like they have their own unique skills and stuff like that. And I thought about doing that with him, but he was very obviously like a little too much. He was a little too much of a heretic, so it's not something that Merrick would do.
What if you downloaded the information from his brain into somebody else and just filtered it down until you didn't get a crazy person?
Well, I mean, the thing is, technically, with the Rite of Duplessence, like, the other consciousness never gets control of your body. It would just be... So,
it's
like,
yelling at you in your mind all the time.
Yeah, which is not nice. I will tell you, though, once earlier on, when we had all the time shenanigans where, like, we were arriving before we arrived and stuff, I did try to talk Nugget into letting me put my own brain from a alternate universe Merrick into me so that I could just be double Merrick, and that didn't work out because of time travel being weird. But we'll see if anything like that ever comes up. Probably I'll just end up destroying that ship though, because that dude is, even if he did manage to merge with a ship
done it.
AI, he's heretical.
It was very impressive what he did, but he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, it's important knowledge, but it's corrupted knowledge, and that kind of knowledge is just you basically have to count it as lost.
The worst party split thing, to go back to that briefly, that I ever heard about was a guy playing Call of Cthulhu, and he made classic 1920s, 1930s Call of Cthulhu setting. And he made a character in a wheelchair, and his deal was he was going to be a dream walker. And it was sort of like Shadowrun, where someone goes into the Matrix and everybody else doesn't. But it meant, well, in the 1920s and 30s, there's not like accessibility ramps and stuff for people in wheelchairs. So he actually just literally couldn't get into anywhere anybody else ever went, and he couldn't sneak. So every session was either, it's like, oh, time for me to walk into dreams, or time for me to sit at home while everybody else goes out on adventure. So it was either him or everybody else for the sessions, and he was like, this is stupid. Why did I do this?
When I was at university, I had a session, I don't remember, it was either like Vampire or... No, I think it was Star Wars D20, where one of the characters were in a different location, but GM had been like, "Oh, this is gonna like not take very long," and then you can like join up. But then for some reason something fucked up. Basically, so for a whole session, we had a guy sitting in the kitchen just waiting to join, and he never got to.
I ran a game of Warhammer Fantasy at one point where one player got like mildly separated from the group while they were scavenging all over the place, and I kept trying to give him ways to get back to the rest of the group, and he wasn't far. He was like, 1 block over from where everyone else is, and I'm like, well, you see the alleyway through here is clear, you could probably run through. And like everything he did that I tried to just give him an easy open way to get back to them, he would be like, no, they're probably just hiding in the alley somewhere. I'm going up the side of this building and down the road. Like, what are you
It is
doing?
Skaven.
Just go back. But come on.
Yeah, no. But that's exactly what the DM would say if he wanted you to fall into the Skaven trap.
You can never predict what stupid stuff players are gonna do. Like try and shoot Sigmund.
What? That was fucking normal. I thought that was very rational.
I fucking lost it when you did that. I had to mute my mic because I was breaking down.
I muted my
I was
mic a
laughing
couple
as well.
times laughing.
Here's good stuff.
All right, I think I gotta get going pretty soon.
Yeah.
What a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
thanks,
that was a
everyone.
good session. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. And, well, being here for like 100 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, thank
and
all of you.
we love reading the YouTube comments. We even respond to them sometimes.
Yes,
Which is,
send us
crazy.
comments, send us fan art. I love fan art. If you want to make a space whale drawing somewhere, I'll put it.
Yeah, someone draw me a space whale.
in
I'll
map
love you
tools.
forever.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
Poor Samantha is unrepresented.
time to shut down this stream.
It's not a space.
Bye, stream.
Bye.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.